Welcome back to the Abyss, my friends. Tonight we journey to a desolate village swallowed by silence and shrouded in shadow, where the only inhabitants are secrets and specters, and the eerie glow of unexplained lights. Three souls dared to trespass on this haunted ground. Turn off the lights, sit back, and prepare to be scared. The old dirt road stretched out before him like a broken promise, swallowed by shadows as the last whispers of daylight faded from the sky. Our traveler, a man named Daniel, gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white, a knot of unease tightening in his gut. He wasn't supposed to be anywhere near this godforsaken place. He had taken a wrong turn miles back, a detour that led him deeper and deeper into the heart of nowhere, and that's when he saw it. A weathered sign, half hidden by overgrown weeds, its paint peeling like sunburnt skin. "Welcome to Silent Hollow," it proclaimed in faded letters, but the only welcome that awaited Daniel was the unsettling chill that seeped into his bones. Silent Hollow. The name hung in the air like a whispered threat. The stories he'd heard as a child, whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones, came rushing back to him. They said the village had been abandoned decades ago, its inhabitants vanishing without a trace, leaving behind an echoing silence that whispered of unspeakable horrors. Daniel pressed on, his unease growing with every passing mile. He told himself it was just an old ghost story, a local legend meant to scare tourists and children. But deep down, a primal fear stirred within him, fueled by the encroaching darkness and the oppressive silence that seemed to swallow the very sound of his engine. As he entered the village, the first thing that struck him was the silence. It wasn't just the absence of sound, but a heavy, suffocating silence that pressed down on him like a physical weight. The houses stood like hollow-eyed specters, their windows dark and empty, their doors hanging open like gaping maws. The wind howled through the skeletal trees, twisting their branches into grotesque shapes that danced against the dying light. And then he saw it. In the distance, a faint glow flickering between the skeletal silhouettes of buildings. It pulsed like a heartbeat, an unnatural light that seemed to emanate from the very earth itself. A shiver ran down Daniel's spine. It was a light he couldn't explain, a light that didn't belong in this desolate, forgotten place. Curiosity warred with fear as he drove closer, the glow growing stronger, illuminating the dilapidated houses with an ethereal luminescence. He parked his car at the edge of what was once a town square, his heart pounding against his ribs. The air grew heavy, thick with a strange energy that made the hairs on his arms stand on end. He stepped out of the car, the silence pressing in on him, broken only by the sound of his own ragged breathing. As he walked deeper into the village, each step fueled by a morbid fascination, the light grew more intense. It pulsed with an eerie rhythm, casting long, dancing shadows that stretched and contorted like living things. He found himself standing before an old church, its steeple reaching towards the sky like a skeletal finger. Hesitantly, Daniel reached for the rusted handle of the church door. It creaked open, the sound like a scream in the oppressive silence. The old pickup truck bounced along the pothole-ridden road, its headlights cutting through the darkness like knives. Inside, four friends, fueled by youthful bravado and cheap beer, laughed, their voices echoing in the close confines of the cab. There was Jake, the self-proclaimed leader, his eyes gleaming with reckless excitement. Beside him sat Emily, her laughter infectious, her hand resting on Jake's arm, grounding him, even if just a little. In the back, Chris, the skeptic of the group, rolled his eyes at their antics, but a smile played on his lips. And then there was Chloe, quiet and observant, her gaze drawn to the passing shadows, a flicker of unease in her eyes. They were on their way to Silent Hollow, a place that existed only in whispered stories and hushed warnings, a place their parents told them to avoid, a place that, for them, held the irresistible allure of the forbidden. "You guys are crazy," Chris muttered, shaking his head. "This place is probably crawling with rats and who knows what else." "Oh, come on, Chris, live a little," Jake chuckled, throwing a playful arm around Emily. "Besides, what's a little adventure without a little danger, right?" Emily giggled, but Chloe noticed her grip tighten on Jake's arm. "Maybe Chris is right," she said, her voice barely a whisper above the rumble of the engine. "What if those stories are true?" Jake just laughed, dismissing her concerns with a wave of his hand. "Don't worry, Chloe. If we see any ghosts, I'll tell them to get a life." Their laughter echoed in the night as they pulled up to the outskirts of the village. The houses loomed before them, dark and silent, their windows like vacant eyes staring out into the night. A shiver ran down Chloe's spine. Even the darkness here felt different, heavier somehow, as if the very air itself was thick with unspoken secrets. As they stepped out of the truck, the silence washed over them, swallowing their laughter and replacing it with an unsettling stillness. The only sound was the wind whistling through the skeletal trees, a mournful symphony that sent shivers down their spines. "Creepy," Emily whispered, moving closer to Jake, seeking comfort in his presence. "See, I told you this place would be awesome," Jake said, his voice a little too loud in the stillness, as if trying to fill the silence that pressed in on them from all sides. They decided to explore the abandoned houses, their flashlights cutting through the darkness, illuminating dust-covered furniture and remnants of lives long gone. Each creaking floorboard, each rustle of wind against the boarded-up windows sent their hearts racing. They were in the old general store when they saw it, a light, flickering in the distance like a beacon in the night. "What is that?" Emily whispered, her voice trembling. "Probably just some kids messing around," Jake said, his voice strained, his earlier bravado fading in the face of the unexplainable. Chapter 3. The Local Resident. Old Man Hemlock sat on his porch swing, the rhythmic creaking a comforting counterpoint to the chorus of crickets chirping in the night. He took a long drag from his pipe, the sweet scent of cherry tobacco wafting around him, and watched the fireflies dance in the twilight. He'd lived in these parts his entire life, seen the seasons change and the town grow old around him. He knew every shadow, every rustle of leaves, every creak of his aging house. So when the rumors about Silent Hollow started, he just shook his head and chuckled. City folk and their tall tales, he thought, their imaginations running wild with stories of lights and ghosts. He knew better. Silent Hollow was just a forgotten place, swallowed by time and neglect, not some supernatural hotspot. He'd heard the stories, of course, who hadn't? The unexplained disappearances, the strange lights that flickered in the night. But he dismissed them as folklore, nothing more than the ramblings of bored teenagers looking for a thrill. One night, however, the line between legend and reality blurred for Old Man Hemlock. He was returning home from a fishing trip, his trusty dog Buster snoring softly at his feet. As he passed the turnoff to Silent Hollow, a flicker of light caught his eye. It pulsed in the distance, an unnatural glow that sent a shiver down his spine. Curiosity piqued, he pulled over to the side of the road, his gaze drawn to the eerie light that seemed to emanate from the heart of the abandoned village. Buster whined, his tail tucking between his legs, his usually playful demeanor replaced with a whimper of unease. "What is it, boy?" Old Man Hemlock murmured, his hand resting on the dog's head. Buster whined again, his body trembling, his eyes fixed on the flickering light. A strange feeling washed over him, a prickling sensation on his skin, a sense of being watched. He'd dismissed the stories for years, but now, standing here on the edge of the unknown, doubt gnawed at his resolve. He told himself it was just a trick of the light, a reflection of the moon on the broken windows of the abandoned houses. But deep down, a primal fear stirred within him, a fear that whispered of things unseen, of secrets buried deep within the heart of Silent Hollow. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, terribly wrong. He decided to investigate, his curiosity outweighing his better judgment. He left Buster in the truck, his hand lingering on the dog's head, a silent apology for what he was about to do. He approached the village slowly, his footsteps echoing in the stillness, each step drawing him closer to the pulsating light. As he entered the village, the air grew heavy, thick with an oppressive silence that seemed to suffocate all sound. The light led him to the old church, its skeletal steeple reaching towards the sky like a beckoning finger. He cautiously approached the church, his hand hovering over the rusted handle of the door. He pushed the door open, the hinges groaning in protest. So there you have it. 3 chilling tales of the unexplained, 3 encounters with the unknown in the heart of Silent Hollow. Did these stories send a shiver down your spine? Did they make you question the darkness that lurks just beyond the veil of our reality? If you enjoyed these stories, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our next descent into the shadows. And tell us, do you have a story about a time you encountered something you couldn't explain? Share your experiences in the comments below. Until next time, my friends, stay curious, stay skeptical, but most importantly, stay scared.